This is seriously concerning for the Cavs. The team making some big acquisitions earlier in the week, but are they the right acquisitions? I'm going to break down what both these trades mean for the Cavs, my 2 cents on them, and the possible negative ramifications this could have on the team moving forward. What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome to another episode of Cavs Digest. I'm your host for today's video, Darayus Sethna. Thanks so much for joining me. Always great to be back with you guys. Before we get into Killian Hayes and Thomas Bryant, make sure you like this video and subscribe to that Cavs Digest YouTube channel. Want to pull it up for you again, a little over 67%. So about 2/3 of you not subscribed to the channel who watch these videos. So you're not giving yourself enough credit for watching these videos, and you're certainly not helping things out on our end either. So make sure, like this video, subscribe to the Cavs Digest YouTube channel to make sure you're caught up on all things Cavs, and you're going to help us out on the back end as well. So make sure you do that. It would be a huge help. Let's get into today's video because obviously we've had, the Cavs have had some big news going on in the recent couple of days here, and first and foremost, want to give a big shout out to Matt, our other creator on the Cavs Digest channel. He has been doing a fantastic job just keeping up with all these acquisitions the Cavs have been making, all this recent stuff, so he's been putting in some great work on the back end, and his videos show that. So make sure you give his videos a look as well in terms of this news, but I also wanted to give my 2 cents on the Thomas Bryant and Killian Hayes acquisitions. Just little, just to give you some just background information. So Thomas Bryant earlier this week signed a 1-year deal with the Cleveland Cavaliers from free agency, and then Killian Hayes traded to Cleveland. It was a G League trade, so the Cavs gave up their first and second round picks in the 2026 G League draft for the rights of Killian Hayes. Now, let's get into honestly, my 2 thoughts on both of these trades, because I did have reactions to both of these, and I'm going to start with Killian Hayes because it's a little more clear cut, my opinion. And I'm going to be honest here, I'm not a huge fan of this move. I do not like this move for the Cavs because there's just not enough evidence for me in Killian Hayes in the fact that he has proven to be a legitimate NBA talent. This is someone, you see in this picture here, back in the 2020 draft, was drafted by the Detroit Pistons 7th overall, so he was a lottery pick, and he just has not lived up to those lottery pick expectations. His best year he's going into year 6 now, as a professional basketball player. So in his first 5 years, his best year was the 22-23 season with Detroit, where he averaged 10 points a game, shooting 37% from the field. That's just not good enough. And again, I don't want to sound, this isn't anything personal. I'm not angry. I don't want to be ranting here. But to me, if you're the Cleveland Cavaliers, you have championship expectations. So every move you make, you have to think, how is this going to help us achieve our championship goals? You're not in win now mode. And to me, Killian Hayes, certainly the potential is there, but the Cavs don't have time to really be developing players, and he's probably going to be playing a lot in the G League. But again, just not a huge fan of this move. Taking a look at kind of going into the stats here a little bit as well for Killian Hayes. Again, this was from last season. And just to kind of clarify as well, Hayes only played in 6 NBA games last year with the Brooklyn Nets. He spent most of his time last season in the G League with the Nets affiliate Long Island Nets. But again, these numbers just don't inspire me. They don't really do justice for the Cavs making this move. This move honestly has me scratching my head a little bit more on what the Cavs' plans are, really. And it's especially these numbers for a player who's going into year 6 is concerning. It's not like he's a rookie or second-year player, still learning his ways in the NBA. He's going into year 6 now. So we have to be honest about what's going on here. He has not lived up to the expectations, and certainly a lot of people are going to say, is he a bust? Is he already a bust? I mean, he is still young, right? 24 years old, so you don't want to obviously give up on a player like that. But again, the Cavs have championship expectations, and I just don't think this is a good move for them to put their focus into. I know he'll probably be spending a lot of time in the G League, but especially when you're in the G League, and think about it from the Cavs' perspective as well, they gave up 2 picks in the next year's NBA G League draft, and who knows what those picks could be. Those guys could be guys like a Jalen Tyson, the Craig Porter Jr.'s of the world, who step up and play great basketball, but you've essentially given those picks up because you want to develop another player who's already been in the league for 5 years and has just not shown anything. So again, that has me scratching my head a little bit. Again, Hayes only played in 6 games for the Brooklyn Nets last year. He did sign a G League contract with the Long Island Nets. Now he will be a member of the Cleveland Charge. But with some of these injuries on the Cavs, he could get the call-up. And I honestly have no clue how he's going to mesh into this offense with him and Lonzo Ball. This Cavs second unit is a complete wonder at this point, and it's a little bit concerning with preseason starting in a couple of weeks here. I also want to give my 2 cents on the Thomas Bryant acquisition. So a couple months ago, this back in July, one of my first few videos on the channel, I talked about, and Matt stressed this, has been stressing this as well, the Cavs needed a backup center. This is really the one position, was really one of the one positions that was glaring on their roster, one of the big deficiencies on the roster, and the Cavs finally answered that deficiency by signing Thomas Bryant earlier this week. And I made a video a couple months ago pleading for this. The Cavs needed to do this, right? This is someone who was just in the NBA Finals, played a major role in the Pacers' run to the NBA Finals, is a big man who can not only rebound and be in the paint, but can also shoot from 3, which is critical in today's NBA. So from a basketball standpoint, this is why I say analyzing this move is a little bit more difficult than Killian Hayes, because there are a couple parts here. The first part is the basketball element of it. In terms of basketball, this is a great move for the Cavs, right? For the reasons I just mentioned. Can spread the floor, can shoot, and just another big man who can back up Jarrett Allen for the Cavs, especially with these early season injuries. My issue with this move is the timing of it, and I guess it's better late than never, but for the Cavs, this was one of your glaring roster deficiencies, and you've finally answered it 2 weeks before training camp. Now, I did try to do some research on this prior to the making this video on Thomas Bryant's contract, and he was traded to the Pacers in December of 2024, was on a 1-year deal. So going into this offseason, he was going to be a free agent. So for the Cavs, it makes me question, why didn't they go after him right away in free agency? And if there is a reason, like I said, I tried looking this up, finding information. I could not find anything. Was it something on Bryant's end? Was there a reason he didn't want to commit right away? Did he want to take his time? And if that's the case, you obviously can't blame the Cavs. But if that wasn't the case, why were the Cavs so late to jump on this? This trade, although it's great for the roster, certainly has me asking some questions here about why it essentially took so long for the Cavs to sign Thomas Bryant. And again, if you possibly know why, if you find the information, like I said, I was doing research, couldn't really find anything, found his contract details, and that was about it. Let me know in the comments below, share that information. But at the end of the day, it's a good move for the Cavs, obviously for the roster, but that timing just doesn't make sense. And then you look at it from just a life perspective as well. Thomas Bryant now has to learn the Cavs system, implement himself, figure out how he can implement himself within that system, and acclimate himself to all of his teammates, and has only about 2 weeks to do this before the preseason starts. So why not sign him earlier, have him be a part of these off-season workouts the Cavs have been doing in their spare time, get him to build that camaraderie with his teammates then, and now he's ready to go. But in reality now, he essentially only has a little less than a month before the regular season starts to figure out his role, acclimate himself with the team, and just living in Cleveland. Again, it's not easy for these guys to, move around from place to place, especially these journeymen. So here he is, a new state, a new city, and it's just tough. So that's going to be a really quick turnaround for him. Obviously, you're a pro basketball player, is what you have to do. But the question is still, why did it take so long at the end of the day for the Cavs to get this done? So again, these are not moves that I'm not going to lie that really either of them impressed me. I think Thomas Bryant is the move the Cavs needed to make. And then Killian Hayes just, again, has me scratching my head. This is a player who has not proved a lot in the NBA thus far. And just have some questions about what the Cavs are doing. Again, the core of the team is set, but this second unit, still a lot of question marks. But let me know what you have to say about this Killian Hayes move, this Thomas Bryant acquisition, because there are a lot of moving bits and pieces here, especially on Thomas Bryant's end. Like I said, if you have some more information about Thomas Bryant's end, like I said, couldn't find a lot, but let me know in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts, opinions. I want to see it all. And friendly reminder, make sure you like this video and subscribe to that Cavs Digest YouTube channel. Want to get that 67.5% number down and that 32.5% up. So your subscriptions, your support is a massive boost for our channel. Ladies and gentlemen, have a fantastic weekend. Thanks so much for joining me today on another episode of Cavs Digest, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.